clock strikes 1, and Ebenita awakens, where, on the coffee table in her room between her two armchairs by the fireplace, the room is lit by a small candle sitting on the centre of the coffee table. Ebenita then gets out of bed and fastens her robe, and then sees something coming from the fireplace. Soot. Then, all of a sudden, someone comes out from the chimney, out of the fireplace. A man in 19th century wear, with a big goatee moustache and thick hair, saying, "Oh, golly gosh, my apologies there, it's Christmas time, I saw the chimney, I was like, what the hell? Ah, there's my candle." The spirit then picks up his candle. Ebenita, looking puzzled and confused, she then says, "Who the hell are you?" Did you not receive a visit earlier from an old friend of yours?" "Wait, are you the spirit whose coming was foretold?" "Indeed I am. I am the ghost of Christmas past." "Christmas past?" "Yes, your past to be exact. I'm here to show you the shadows of what have been." "You're not what I expected." "Well, I represent all that is of Christmas that has been. And just know that everything that happens tonight you brought on yourself. Are you ready, Ebenita?" "Ready?" "Yes, to go back to the past." "To the past?" "Yes. Just look into the flame of my candle. Look, look." Ebenita then looks into the candle, where she then sees herself and the spirit in a familiar place, a New York school. The spirit then asks her, "Do you remember this place, Ebenita?" "Do I remember it? I went to school here. Yes, I remember. Oh, look, there's one of my classmates," as she sees children ring around, going into their parents' arms. One classmate walks straight through her. She then wonders what's going on. The spirit then tells her, "These are memories, the past. They can't hear you or see you. Come, let's find you." Ebenita then sees herself in the classroom. My father was always late. He always had to go to the other side of town to get my sister first. I mean, my mother died when we were young, giving birth to my sister Fran. "Oh, you're still here, Ebenita." "Oh, yes. My dad should be coming soon." "Oh, of course. He's always a bit late, isn't he?" "I remember this Christmas. 1971. I was only 10 years old. Then Ebenita's father comes in, a middle-aged man, saying, "Ah, there you are. Come on, Ebenita, let's go home." "Well, goodbye, miss." "Goodbye, Ebenita." Christmas Day at the Scrooge household in 1971. Ebenita and her sister Fran sit at the table. Ebenita making a sandwich for her and her sister, as her father sits in an armchair in front of the TV, drunk. That's all we ever had to look forward to on Christmas Day. A drunk father. He always just drowned his sorrows. Couldn't bear it. Daddy? Daddy, huh? Oh, Fran, what are you doing? Are you are you going to do any Christmas dinner? I told you I can't cook. What is with you girls wanting presents and Christmas things up? You know, Christmas is just a load of baloney, said Ebenita's father, drunk. All it is money-making scandals and just an excuse to have a day off. Now look, you girls need to know that life isn't fair. Okay? It's not all easy and fairy tales, alright? You really gotta make your way in the world. The sooner you girls realize that, the better. I'm sorry. I'll try and be a better dad to you, but it's just never easy. Being a single dad. I'm going to bed. That was the last Christmas he ever was drunk. He actually turned over a new leaf after that, said Ebenita. Then, Ebenita sees her father in his room looking at a photo of Ebenita's mother, saying, if only you was here, you know what to do. Then, Ebenita and the spirit jump a few years to Christmas 1977, where things are a little more Christmassy in their apartment. Ebenita actually cooking a Christmas meal. Then, Ebenita's father returns home in his security guard uniform, saying, smells great in here. I see you're cooking dinner. Yes, Dad. Listen, Ebenita, I got talking with the boss at work, and, he says he wants to give you an interview in the new year. Really? Yes. You're 16 years old now, Ebenita. You need to start working, and you can't afford college, so this is the next best thing, I'm afraid. Of course, thank you, Daddy. Yes. Consider it one Christmas gift. What else have you got us for Christmas? Oh, you have to wait till tomorrow like everyone else. Fran, helping your sister cook? Yes, Daddy. Well, I'm a little tired, so I'm gonna take a nap. He really did change his ways after that, said Ebenita. Then Ebenita remembered something. But of course he didn't tell us that he was sick. He was only looking out for me and Fran. Of course we then got put into foster care for a while. I mean, he fought the illness for as long as he could, but not really much they could do about cancer back then. But at least he made up in the end. And I kept working hard. And once Fran turned 18, she had to start working too. Then Ebenita sees herself. Christmas, 1981. Ebenita working hard in the department store. Then her boss comes in, Mr. Fezziwig, saying, "Okay, workers, you know what time it is. Christmas Eve. Time to put away your work things and go up to the office block and let's party."
"Oh, Mr. Fezziwig," said Ebenita Scrooge, "I could not have worked for a nicer man."
"And this is also a Christmas that you can remember?"
"Oh, of course, how could I forget?"
At a Christmas party, Ebenita then sees herself sitting awkwardly. She then sees a young woman go up to her. Ebenita then says,
"Isabel. Oh, I remember her."
"Are you okay?" said Isabel to a young Ebenita Scrooge.
"Oh, yes, fine. It's just Mr. Fezziwig really likes his Christmas parties." "Yes, he does." "Oh, look, mistletoe." "Yes."
Do you want to go somewhere quiet?" said Bella.
"Okay," said Ebenita.
Ebenita then sees her young self on the rooftop of the department store with Isabel, both sharing a bottle of wine and laughing and chatting. Then, as midnight approaches, Ebenita then says,
"Ah, midnight. Christmas Day. Yes, it is."
"So what did you ask for Christmas?" said Ebenita.
"Oh, I just... Nah, it's silly. No, I want to know."
"I won't make fun." "Well, if you must know," said Isabel, I
wished for a partner. You know, someone to be with. I mean, I got my parents at home and... Well, last Christmas I made an announcement and they accepted me, and I think I know what your gift is."
"Do you?"
"Yes."
Ebenita then goes in and kisses Isabel. And then Ebenita smiles as she looks at her young self. The spirit then holds up his candle to her and says, "And this is when you felt feelings for someone for the first time ever?"
"Yes. I never had any feelings about anyone before till I met Isabel. Oh, those were the best years of my life. And then I started to work more."
"Ah, yes. Christmas 1985, wasn't it?" Ebenita then sees herself in Christmas 1985. Then Fezziwig then makes an announcement. "Well, employees, before we begin our celebrations, I want to announce that this is my last Christmas working here. I'm retiring."
"You're retiring?"
"Yes, but I do have a successor. See, I've sold my store to a worthy investor. His name is Mr. Jacob Marley, and he will be taking over in the new year. Now, don't worry, I've managed to secure your jobs and your workplaces. Ms Scrooge, you will still have your role as assistant manager, and everyone will work as normal. It's just I will be leaving." Then all of them, saddened by his news but happy for him, and they celebrate and have a big Christmas party.
"Oh, then I started working for Marley,"
said Ebenita. "Yes, you did. You worked hard and you earned his respect. In fact, you started to put your job before anything else, didn't you? Especially around Christmas time in 1986. Ebenita then sees herself in the hospital, Christmas 1986.
where her sister Fran is laying in bed, weakened and drained from giving childbirth. Ebenita then saying, "It's a boy. Fred. His name is Fred. He's called Fred." Of course, the boy's father was never involved. Once she took the pregnancy test, he left her and didn't want anything to do with her. She assigned me his legal guardian. I provided for him. I had to work extra hours.
Yes, you did, said the spirit. You worked hard.
Then Ebenita sees her sister as she slowly dies from exhaustion. She then walks up to her nephew and picks him up, saying, Now, little one, I'm your Auntie Ebenita, and I'll look after you. I promise."
But of course, you did not really look after him much. You had Isabel do all that for you, didn't you? You worked and worked to the point where you just lost yourself. Christmas 1991. Ebenita working in her office with Molly on the other side of the room. Then Isabel comes in, saying,
"Ebenita, are you coming home? It's Christmas Eve. You should be with me and Fred." "I told you I'm very busy. Me and Marley, we've had a profitable year and, well, look, I don't have time to talk right now. I'll talk to you later." "You always say later," said Bella. "You're always saying later. When are you going to make time for me?" "Everything I do is for you, and me, and Frederick." "I'm sorry, but this is no time to talk. It's a time to work."
Molly then says, "Oh, I'll leave you to talk. I'm due a coffee break anyway." Molly then leaves the office to get his coffee.
As for Ebenita, she then says, "Okay, Bella, you have 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Is that all I'm worth to you? 2 minutes? Look, Ebenita, you need to start choosing. Me or your family. Me and Fred. What's it gonna be?" "Please don't make me choose between you and my job." "I think I have my answer then." "You're breaking up with me." "I'm afraid so. I can't keep doing this, Ebenita." "Look, I'll keep looking after Fred for you when you're working, but I have to move on with my life. I walk out this door now, you're not going to see me again." Isabel then walks up to the door. As she sees Ebenita at her desk working, she then says, "Goodbye, Ebenita." She then leaves. Ebenita then says to the spirit, "Of course, she stuck around for 2 months, but she couldn't bear it. Me working and being there. In the end, I had to pay for a nanny to look after Fred."
"Yes, because you got promoted even more, didn't you, Ebenita?" Then, as Isabel leaves her office, Molly then comes in and says, "I take it that did not end well."
No, Mr. Marley, I had to end things with her. It was for the best.
I see. You know, I was in love once a long time ago, but she didn't understand. Between relationships and business, I had to let her go too. I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't make that difficult call.
Yes.
Don't be sad, Ebenita. Don't think of this as a loss, think of it as an opportunity.
Ebenita looks at her young self, saying, I really wish I'd gone after her.
These are memories that you forged yourself, said the spirit. These are your shadows of what I've been.
Then Molly says to her,
I was going to wait until the new year for this, but I think now seems like the right time. How would you feel about being more than just an assistant manager for this company?
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm getting on in years and I think I need someone to help me man the ship. I'm basically saying, Ebenita, I would like you to be my partner in this business.
Business partner? I don't know what to say.
Just say yes, and you'll get better pay. You can have someone look after your nephew if she is really left you.
Well, I guess yes, Mr. Marley. I mean, I'm honored.
Please, Ebenita. If we are going to be business partners, we need to be on a first name term. Call me Jacob.
Okay, Jacob.
This doesn't really call for a coffee, does it? It calls for something stronger.
Of course, I was better off financially.
Come, said the spirit. My time with you is nearly done. We have one more stop to make.
Ebenita then sees herself. Christmas 2015. Wait, I know this. It's Christmas Eve.
Standing in a suit with Marley, having a sherry, she then says to Jacob,
Well, Jacob, we've had another profitable year.
Yes, we have. That's all good Christmas brings to us, money in our pockets. If anything else, that's the only thing it ever does, as I completely dislike this holiday.
Yes, I'm not keen on it myself, but I make the little effort for my nephew. Well, I used to. He's all grown up now, getting married. And of course I never went to that wedding, said Ebenita to the spirit.
Of course you didn't. You put your work first. How well do you know your nephew?
Well, I guess I don't really know him that well, but I know that he's family. Wait, hold on. I remember this Christmas Eve. It was 7 years ago. Well, Mr. Marley, I guess there's nothing more to do here.
I know. Why don't you head off home and I'll close up?
Well, I'll, see you tomorrow.
There's no point coming in tomorrow. No one is working. I'll see you on the 26th.
Okay then, the 26th. Good evening, Jacob.
And you, Ebenita.
Wait, I don't want to see this next bit, said Ebenita. Ebenita then leaves the office. She then sees Jacob in his chair, sitting by his desk. That was the last time I ever saw him alive. Please, Spirit, I want to see what happens next.
Of course. He didn't suffer long, did he? Said the spirit.
Then Molly begins to feel an uncomfortable pain in his chest.
He then gets up out of his chair and stumbles forward before collapsing from a heart attack and dying. Ebenita then says, "Later that night, the security guard found him. He'd been dead for a few hours. I got the call and then he died." "Why have you brought me here, Spirit? Why have you shown me all these memories? Good and bad." "Because that's what life is about. Making good and bad decisions. All of these memories, all of what's happened in your past are what you have decided for your future. These are the shadows of the past. You can't change them," said the spirit. "Just leave me, Spirit." "Very well. My time with you is done now." The spirit then gets his candle and a topper and puts out the flame as the whole place cuts into darkness. Ebenita sits on her bed, saddened, and then realizing she's back home. Exhausted, she then closes the curtains around her bed and lays down and tries to go back to sleep. But then the clock strikes 2, and a beam of light comes from between the curtains of her bed. As the next spirit awaits her, Ebenita then wakes up again as she hears a voice say to her, in a womanly voice, "Scrooge."